Well, hi there guys, Mark here. We're here again at Poole Moto in the south of England, and today we're going to be looking at the all new Lxr 125. Stay tuned. Well, hi there guys, Mark here. Today we're going to be looking at the all new Lexmoto Lxr 125. So I did actually review the previous model to this last year. So this is much the same model, apart from one big change: the engine. It's been increased in power from 12 horsepower to about 14. It's the same engine that's used in the RSS Lexmoto. So we're just going to run through all the specifications on this stunning looking 125, then we'll take it for a test ride. So I just checked the price on the website this morning. These are currently priced at £2,580 plus the on the road charge. So as I said, it's the same bike as the one model last year, but you've got this new engine. It's 124cc liquid cooled 4-stroke, producing a claimed 14.2 horsepower at 9,500 RPM. So just as a reference, the model last year produced 12.4 horsepower at 9,000 RPM, and you can definitely feel there's a bit more keenness, a bit more zing to this new engine. It really is good. It's good fun. Torque is 11.5 Newton meters at 8,500 RPM. We've got a 13.5 litre fuel tank on these. Now these bikes are being 125, they're very economical. You're going to get 90 to 100 miles per gallon out of one of these, so you're going to be talking of at least, I would say, about 250 mile tank range, which is absolutely brilliant. Tyres, we've got a CST, got a 150 on the rear and a 110 on the front. Tubeless tyres, providing pretty decent grip. So if you haven't noticed already, this bike, the Lxr, has been out for quite a few years. It's a very physically big machine. It's about the same size physically as a Honda CBR 500 or a Ninja 400. It's a very tall bike. If you wanted something a bit smaller, you might want to consider the LXS. They've actually got a new model out, LXS. I've actually sat on that new LXS this morning, and at 5'7", I can pretty much flat foot it with my knees bent. This, I'm on the balls of my feet. It's much taller. But just as a reference, take a quick look at me on the bike, and I'm 5'7" with a 30-inch inside leg. Then you can compare that for yourself then. Right, so quite a tall bike this. I'm 5'7" with a 30-inch inside leg, and the balls of my feet are down, but my heels are up about 2 inches. So do bear that in mind. If you're a taller rider, if you're sort of 6 foot tall, you're going to fit this really nicely. But it's a lovely, comfortable riding position for a sports bike. It's just a little bit of forward lean, more of a sports touring position really. You've got these clip-ons here that are nice and high. So it's not like a race replica position, so you definitely could ride this all day. You sit right into the bike, lovely screen, so it gives you good wind protection, and I'm sitting right into the bike. Seat feels comfortable as well, and a nice leg position, not too radical. But yeah, I'm sort of, balls of my feet are down at 5'7". So this really does have a big bike look and feel about it. You have a 6-speed gearbox, which is nice and slick and positive. It's weighing in at 168 kilograms wet weight, which is pretty heavy for a 125, but it still rides really well, holds itself well, and the extra weight does give it added stability. So no storage under there at all, I'm afraid. If you want to carry anything on this, you're going to have to get like a tank bag or some sort of form of tail pack. So big twin discs up front, pedal discs with radial mounted calipers, 4-piston calipers, providing really good strong stopping power on this. Got braided lines as well, which is a nice touch. So non-adjustable front forks on this, but you still give a really good sporty compliant ride. On the SE version you've got the upside down forks. We've got a single monoshock tucked up in there, which is preload adjustable. We've got LED lights all round. You've got like a daytime running light there, you've got side lights there, and obviously you're low and high beam with these sort of projector lights. So lights are really good. I'll just put them on for you. Quite unique also, you've got a light switch, which is quite something you don't get these days. So I'll put it onto high beam. May not be able to see it, but I have ridden this at night and it is very good lights indeed. So just on your lights off, you've got this little light on here. Got a stainless steel exhaust throughout. Now this exhaust does sound really good. If it was me, I wouldn't bother changing it. Let's give you a quick little listen, and at the end of the video. So a nice sort of throaty brap there to it, excellent. So this new bike comes in this really striking black and gold with the new gold frame, or you can get a nice red and black colour. So because of the new engine and the new power of this bike, they're now quoting 72 miles an hour, which I don't disbelieve. It feels very keen when you ride it, and that's a couple of miles an hour up on last year's model. Comes with a 2-year warranty. Servicing is relatively cheap and easy on these little 125s. Just take care of them, look after it, check the tyre pressures, keep the chain adjusted and lubed, check your oil level, and it will serve you well. But just looking around the bike, looks really smart. It's got that new engine which obviously gives it greater performance, and looks great. So anyway, let's take it for the test ride. Okay, let's try it out. The all new Lexmoto Lxr 125. Looks absolutely stunning. So it's a tall bike, the Lxr, so do bear that in mind. See, I'm 5'7", my feet are just on the balls of my feet, my heels aren't down. When you sit on board, it feels like you sit right into the bike. You are sitting tall on it. What I do like about this particular bike is these clip-ons are very, very high above the top yoke, good sort of 3 inches, so it's not a radical position. It's really quite comfortable. You know, I'm 54 years old, I could easily ride this all day long. So you've got a cable clutch, which is quite light, headlight flasher, high and low beam, hazards, indicators, and your horn. We've got a span adjustable front brake lever. Front brakes are really strong on this with the twin discs. Engine kill switch. You've got your lights off, side lights or main beam, which is quite novel. You don't normally have a light switch these days on bikes, they're normally always on. And your starter. So turn the key. It's the same dash as the previous Lxr. You've got your analog rev counter, tachometer, which I really like. All your warning lights in there. You've got your gear position indicator, which is great. Speedo, odometer, and your fuel gauge. Quite simple really on these. So little push, start straight up, and these standard exhausts sound really good. No need to change this exhaust, it's great as it is. So let's try this out. So nice and easy into first, light clutch and positive gearbox, and away we go. Well, welcome aboard the all-new Lexmoto Lxr 125. And as I said, I reviewed the previous model to this last year, and that was a great bike, really good. But this new engine has definitely injected a bit more excitement into this little bike. So we're just going to run through the bike in the usual way, starting off with the mirrors. They're right out there. I can see about 50% of my elbows, but still, you know, you have to sort of look a little bit, but still got a good clear view behind, so that's no problem at all good there. Now, even though this is a sports bike, you know, these clip-ons are very high and they're wide, and it's a very comfortable position. It's a very tall riding position. You're sat right up high on the bike. So I mean, I'm 5'7", and I could ride this all day. I mean, I'm 54 years old, and I could quite happily ride this bike all day. The seat's really comfortable on it. There's quite a bit of leg room as well. It's not too cramped up. So if you were well above, you know, if you were sort of 6 foot guy, I think this bike would still suit you very well. So we're in 4th gear now, and you can actually feel the extra couple of horsepower in that engine from sort of 5, 6, 7,000 RPM. It's just got that couple of horsepower more that gives it that bit more zing. Suspension set up on the sporty side. You can really feel what's going on beneath you, but it's pretty compliant and comfortable for all day riding. So one thing I always sort of try and test with 125s is, you know, will they hold their own on an A road like this? You know, I mean, this bike, look, is doing 55 indicated. By the way, I've GPS checked the speedo. It's about 2 miles an hour over, which is very good. But this bike is holding its own, look, on an A road, no problem whatsoever. Some of the sort of generic 10 horsepower air-cooled engines really struggle to 50. You know, this does 50, 60 and right up to about a claimed 72 miles an hour, which I don't disbelieve. So brakes, very strong. Try those again a bit later on. I like the cockpit on this. I like the traditional analog tachometer, and you've got your LCD display there with your odometer, miles an hour in your gears, and your fuel gauge. But as a first sort of bike, you know, this bike is really good fun. The exhaust sounds great, no need to change that. It's got a really good kind of brap to it. These 125s are super economical. You're going to get 90 to 100 miles per gallon. So with a 13 litre tank, you're going to get, you know, well over 200 miles, 250 miles even, I would say. So far, first impressions, the Lxr is back even better than before with this all new engine. Right, so what's the Lxr like at the slow speed? We're just coming into town now. I'm currently in 5th gear, just under 5,000 revs. It's a very smooth engine right the way through. It's only when you get it to right to the peak revs it gets a little bit buzzy up there, but even then it's nothing bad. Put it into top gear, look, 4,000 revs, 30 mile an hour. Really nice, very smooth indeed. You know, it will even pull top gear at slow speeds. Because it's such a tall machine, you are really sat up high on it, and you've got great visibility. It's got a nice weight to it. All the clutch gearbox is smooth and very positive. It responds well. You know, for a little 125, it's an extremely keen, fun little engine. Makes a great noise. So top gear now, look, just trickling along at 30, about 4,500 revs, very smooth. All the fueling's spot on. Suspension doesn't crash over bumps, it all feels pretty well damped. I do like the riding position on these. You know, it's a very physically big bike. It's like a sort of a Honda CBR 500 or a Ninja 400 kind of size. You really do feel like you're on something very substantial. So there you go, guys, the low speed running on the Lxr is absolutely spot on. Right, so just opening it up a bit. never fails to respond, this little engine. Never complains. It's always very, very keen and willing. So 6th gear now, pulling well up this hill. So I mean the position, riding position, is sort of sports touring. It's not extreme in the slightest. Puts a little bit of weight on your wrists, but so you could easily ride this all day long. So the little screen up there is directing the wind up above my head, tucked in out of the wind with the fairing, does a good job. Right, so nothing behind. I'm just going to try the front brake only. There you go. Ooh. Obviously no ABS on this, it's link brakes, so that's just the front brake on its own. Nice and strong. Get it up to 50, then we'll try the link brakes out. Alright, so link brakes now, full link brakes. Ooh, cool, they do work well actually. So not ABS, just got this link brake where you put the back brake on, puts the front and rear on together. These are CST tyres, provide decent grip. I mean, it's quite a warm day today, early spring, just coming out of winter here in the UK, and they feel pretty decent. But this is quite a bumpy road down here, and the suspension's very compliant indeed. They're still giving a really nice, sporty, fun ride with lots of feedback. Holds its line nicely, no sort of pogo effect in the suspension. Just try those front brakes out again. Yeah, they do stop very well. It's just the way the engine kind of goes 4, 5, 6, 7,000. It's really keen through there. So much fun. I really like 125s. You can really use every single bit of power. So just coming up a hill now. No problem at all. Top gear going up a hill, still holding its own. So as you can see, it's got very sort of sprightly, keen performance for a 125, 14 horsepower. It really is a great little machine. Very well priced as well. Keep these checked, serviced. They'll do you well. So anyway, let's just wrap it up down here. All the indicators and everything are nice and easy to use. Going down the gearbox is extremely slick and easy. See what it's like into first and then back into neutral. Easy. There we are. Just watch that side stand, it's very small. So just a little sound check for you. Lovely stuff. Right, I'll just leave the indicators running. So quite unique on this bike, you've got a light switch. Normally you don't have light switches anymore on bikes, they're always on, but that's lights off, but you still have like a little tiny little light there. So we have side lights on, puts on these here, which looks really cool, and then main beam but low beam. So obviously putting these on. Let me just see what the high beam does. Yeah, that's high beam. High beam's putting the projector bulbs on, those ones just there. So that's pretty good. Excellent. Great stuff. Right, let's just see what it's like to push about. So it's 168 kilos, this bike, which is quite heavy for 125, but it is a big bike and it rides well for it. It's very stable, but it's got a good steering lock on it and very easy to push about. Lovely. Brilliant. So that is an absolutely superb little 125. Let's take a good look round it, shall we? So obviously it's the same bike pretty much as last year. Obviously you've got the gold frame this on it now, as opposed to just black from last year. But the new feature on this bike is obviously that new engine, which is from the RSS 125 as well. But just going through the bike, suspension's set up on the firm side, but it is pretty comfortable for the road. No problems with that at all. These CST tyres grip well. Twin discs up front, loads of braking power there. The linked braking works well. So if I step back, this is physically a very big bike. It's kind of the same size as like a 500 sports bike, so do bear that in mind if you're thinking about one of these. Really, it's kind of 5'7" and upwards really to 6 foot plus to ride one of these. If you're much smaller than 5'7", you want to be looking at the LXS, which is a lot lower in the seat. It's about 780mm. But the overall build quality of the bike is decent. All the plastics are nice. Welds are okay on it. Gearbox nice and slick. Clutch is very light. It's just a really nice, fun little 125 to ride. And it looks really cool as well, which is all important when you get your first bike. So yeah, I'll definitely give that the thumbs up. Great looking little machine, really good fun to ride, and well priced. So guys, if you wouldn't mind posting your comments down below, please don't forget to give me a like, a share and a subscribe, and I'll catch you again in a week or so for another two-wheeled review. Ride safe, all the best, and bye for now.